Awesome. Well, I can go ahead and get us kicked off. If you guys haven't seen my face before, you may have seen it in the past because I worked here a few years ago, left for a
Yeah.
minute and came back. So,
We got her back.
yeah, Christine's she's very convincing. So, I'm back and my name is Courtney and I am the product marketing specialist or manager here at Followup. And today Christine's going to be walking through some sales meeting best practices and how you can leverage Followup to help optimize those meetings. So I'll pass it over to her and feel free to throw in any questions you have during the webinar and I'll be monitoring that, making sure we get everything addressed. So take it away, Christine.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Christine Francois. I am the Director of Customer Success here at Followup. I have been working with onboarding and client retention for almost 9 years now. So I love working at Followup. I love what I get to do, and I'm proud of what our team is producing. And we're just here to support you and help you reach your goals with the software. And running a weekly sales meeting using Followup is one of those key ways to do that. I can't tell you how often I talk to one of you about implementing a weekly sales meeting. And once you do, how successful and how helpful it is for product adoption and getting the true value out of Followup for your company to grow and to move the way you want to move. It's why you came to us, right? We're here to help support your company's goals. So today, what I'm going to be talking about is running a sales meeting. How many of you are already running a weekly or bi-weekly sales meeting now? I would love to hear out in the chat who is already currently implemented that and who is here today because that's something that they feel would help move Followup forward for their company. I would love that. So today we're not going to go over every single feature in the software and how to use it. But what I want to do is to create a repeatable rhythm for your sales team that gives you and your leaders visibility and then gives sales people on your team clear ownership of the projects that they're currently owning. Because I've said it to my own team this week. We were running a meeting and I said, this meeting's great, but I don't feel like we're walking away with clear deliverables and we're getting distracted by other things that are important, but not intended for this meeting. And I think the same thing can happen in our sales meetings. So today I just want to talk about how to run that sales meeting, what the best things are to do during that meeting, and what to not get distracted by in that meeting. So having a CRM does not in itself create accountability. I talked to another customer this week and I said, are you using Followup in your sales meetings? And they said, no. Is everybody entering the information into Followup? And they said, no, we're still using a spreadsheet, which, they purchased they have a CRM now, they're using it, but to drive accountability and to get the most value out of Followup, we have to implement the tools and ask our team to use it by holding them accountable to the new rhythm that we have for our companies. So we're going to use, my goal is for you guys to use the CRM to create conversations that drive ownership and action plans for your team so that you can move forward on projects and get those contracts in, right? It's not about bidding as many opportunities as you can, but it's about focusing on the opportunities you have in your hands and then driving those to that answer of, yes, we won this, or we lost it, and we can move on. So before I jump into reports today, I want to start with 3 simple ways to build accountability for your team. So I'm going to share my screen here. Oh, wrong one. Where did my Canva go? I love it when this happens. This is my favorite. There we go. All right, so we have it. So 3 ways to drive accountability. Simple habits that would be helpful to make Followup a part of your sales rhythm. My number one thing is instead of printing out all of the reports, which you can do, you can print the reports and they're helpful. But if we're asking our team to be inside of Followup every day, Followup has some great tools where you can just open Followup in your sales meeting and use that. And this drives accountability because it gets everybody in there again. So I love to have each person present their own pipeline. So, hey, this is what's in my pipeline. They can pull up this, this dashboard and show, hey, this is what's in my pipeline. This is what I bid this month. Super helpful. I'm going to have to figure out how to go between these better. So going over, showing what's in their pipeline and what they're accountable for. Set activity goals for your team. Now, something I hear a lot from people is that they're not always using the activities in Followup. And I find the activities are so instrumental in moving a project from, hey, this opportunity came in, to we have a next step action plan for how we are going to do our best as a company to win that bid. So the activities that you may have in your system are next follow-up, client meeting, proposal delivered, revised proposal, an estimate. Those are the activities. What I love about the activities is that you can schedule an activity. It can remind you when you need to do that activity, and then it drives accountability. So you can present your activity board and show, hey, these are the activities I've got to get done in the next week. And these are the ones that are behind that maybe I need help on. And then the third way that I think you can drive accountability is reward consistency, especially if your team is newer to Followup or newer to using a tool like Followup. Maybe previously you guys were doing everything via email, or you were doing everything on a spreadsheet, and now things are different. Sometimes you have people on your team that will implement just like that, and they're super excited about using a new system. And then sometimes you have people that have been doing things a specific way for a very long time, and they're very hesitant to change, or maybe something doesn't work the right way, or they don't know how to use it. And so then they don't want to. But if you can reward consistency, hey, we got all of our opportunities in here this week. When everyone gets all their opportunities in, I'm going to buy lunch for the team. Small rewards really, really do help. I had a team that they said, if you have all of your opportunities in Followup this week, you're going to get a $50 gift card, whoever has all of their opportunities in, or I'm going to buy you lunch. Your team doesn't need a $50 gift card, and they don't need you to buy them lunch, but they will be motivated by that. And then at the end, you're driving your end goal of adoption, and then having the information at your fingertips all within Followup. So those would be my 3 ways to drive accountability. Okay, so what I want to talk about next. Keep your sales meeting focused. Now, I know all of us have a lot of things going on, and we're probably even getting pinged during a sales meeting about something else that's super important. So I would say set 15 to 30 minutes aside every week just to talk about your sales pipeline, not to talk about projects that have been won where you're starting to go into production and operations, or projects that haven't been bid yet. Like, let's talk about, or you can talk about things that need to get bid, but I want you to be super focused for just a little period of time, because then you're not going down rabbit trails of, oh, this happened in production, or, oh, those supplies are delayed. You can get distracted really, really easily. So we want to talk about what's happening and what are we bidding? What are we trying to close, and who needs help? Now, to do this, I find it super helpful to pull open the system while you're having this conversation. So we can look at what we're bidding by coming here to, well, one of the ways I love to see what we're bidding is you can actually create a project list with an advanced search. And we could say, so just one more second, I'm going to do that one more time for you. So we have these lists that we can create. And over here, we can click this button called Advanced Search, or we can click the Add List button. It goes to the same place. And I could say everything that is a lead, pre-qualified, and then I could say everything that has a bid date, month to date. And I could save this list. I can call it bids. So then I can click on this and I can see all of the stuff that we need to be working on. And it's all in one place for me. And then I can click into these opportunities even and have a conversation about who's assigned to this opportunity. Oh, we don't have anyone assigned to this opportunity. We need to get somebody assigned. This is a poor example because the bid date was a few weeks ago. But obviously, you'd want your bid date to be in the future, and you want to make sure that these opportunities are getting assigned. And then we would want to assign it. And then the next thing we want to do is have that conversation. Okay, what is your next task on this opportunity that needs to be completed? Oh, you need to have a site visit. When is your site visit? Okay, let's go ahead and get that scheduled right now. It's going to be on Tuesday. Go ahead and put that in for Tuesday. And then on Tuesday, when you complete it, let's say we're going to assign this to Gretchen. I'll assign it to myself. I'm going to save it here. So then we have our site visit assigned. We have the estimator assigned. We've gotten something done really quickly, and now we can move on. Obviously, we would hope that these things would be done before our sales meeting, but sometimes they're not. And so this is a good opportunity to talk about that. The other thing that I like to talk about in sales meetings is making sure that we're leaving comments that matter. So leaving comments like, and then I can save this. And now I have a comment here. The goal of comments is to be able to say anyone who's working on our team that has access to this project can come in and see what's going on here, even if I'm not here today. And that is what really drives visibility and communication throughout your company. So then we're not texting each other and emailing each other to find out what's going on with this opportunity because so-and-so called and now we need to know what's going on. We can just come to one place. We can come down here. We can say, hey, I want to see all the information and I can see all the updates on this opportunity right here in one place for myself. So this is a great way to drive accountability and create opportunity for better communication with your company by using and implementing those comments.
Can I just jump in really quick and share our new feature enhancement to our comment section that now allows you to tag projects and what else? Projects, people.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the name of another project. I can tag a company now, I can tag a project, and I can tag a contact that belongs to the company, which is just great information. It really helps our business development teams because then our business development can see what's going on with a project. If it's progressed, they can say, oh, that was a good opportunity. I want to continue pursuing that relationship. It helps bring clarity between projects, especially if you're bidding multiple projects to the same people. You can say, hey, these projects are all connected. So it is a great new tool to be able to tag. And then you can also tag team members. So if you're working with somebody else on the team and you want to tag them and let them know, hey, I need estimate. And then Christy, depending on her notifications, will get that notification. And then she knows that I need help on this opportunity. Okay, awesome. So let's see here. So that's what I love to do. So we can use the dashboard to talk about what we're doing and what's going on. We can use our activity board to see what opportunities we're working on and what we're bidding and what needs help. I can show, hey, these are the things I have to estimate this week. hey, these are the proposals I need to get done. And we can have these conversations quickly in a sales meeting with each person presenting, hey, this is what I'm working on. This is what I'm trying to close. And then I can also communicate if I need help with the situation. This is a great way to do that. So the next thing that I like to do that really drives accountability and is where I would start your sales meeting is with the report card. Because a sales meeting isn't just about focusing on what's coming up, it's also focusing on what we did this past week to move our projects forward for this week. So the report card shows us some really important information. It's one of the tabs right up here. And Courtney is actually going to share something in the chat right now regarding how to use the report card, how to filter it. You can even schedule the report card to be sent to different people on your team. Some of our sales leaders will have the report card sent to themselves along with their salesperson every single week, so that they're already prepared for the meeting. So it's really up to you. The system is very flexible. You can pull it up on the screen or you can email that report to yourself, and either way you have it in front of yourself. Now, what's really important about all of our reports that we're going to talk about today is you need to pick your filter date and you need to pick who you are viewing. And then if you leave the office or division blank, it'll auto select all offices and all divisions. So it's really important to say, okay, am I looking at just one user or am I looking at the whole company? Because the report card allows you to look at the company or one individual user, and then you want to pick your date. So I'm looking at August 1st through the end of the month. And what the report card is going to show you is everything that was bid within this period of time, everything that was contracted within this period of time, activities that were completed for projects. So the sales activity summary is activities that were completed for projects. And then the contact activities are activities that were completed for contacts. I'm sorry, I think I said comment there, but these are contact activities, sales activities, contracts, and bids. So these are really helpful markers to show what someone did the previous week. Okay, so I put this much in my pipeline and I contracted this many dollars, which is super helpful. And then I can come down here and see how many estimates were completed. And if I expand the view, it'll show me exactly the estimates I completed for particular people. We do have an expand all button, which is pretty nice. You can expand all or contract all, and it'll close and open for you. And then what I love about almost all of our pages within Followup is that I can click on this and then it'll actually open the opportunity for me. So if there needs to be a quick change, if somebody has more information about the opportunity we're on, we can quickly get into it and update it. I think it's the rule that says if you can update it in less than a minute, you do it right now. If it takes 5 minutes, you put it on a list for the end of the day, or if it takes longer, you're going to schedule it. So I feel like get in there, make the change really quick, and then move on. So the report card, you can schedule it, and then you can also give your team goals for what you'd like them to be doing on an average week. Let's say this person's main role is to estimate their opportunities. They're creating those estimates. How many estimates do you want them creating per week or between each of your sales meetings? Maybe it's every 2 weeks. How many comments do you want them writing on their opportunities? I like to say that we should be writing a comment on a project every time something changes or every time we talk to the customer. Because if we're not writing a comment down, we may not remember. All of us are working with a lot of different people on a lot of different tasks every single day. And a lot of us are working collaboratively as a team. And it's always the most embarrassing when you call the same customer twice with the same information and you feel like you're wasting their time and yours. So if we can make the notes and we can get the information in here, we can help produce clear communication through our company that helps our customers as well. So what I love to do is you can give an expectation to your team. This is the report card. Show them this if they haven't already used it. Say, hey, we're going to review what you put in your pipeline, what you bid this week, we're going to review what you contracted, and I want you to present on the activities you completed. And maybe you say, I want you completing 4 proposals every week, and I want you leaving at least 10 comments. That means I know you were inside of 10 of your projects updating the information and where we're going as a company. And then the contact activities, this really comes into play for your business development teams or people who are focused on reaching out to people outside of the context of a project. And we can give you some tools on that, but we're not going to focus on that today. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to use a small series of reports to show us. Let me pull up Canva here. All right, we did that. So now I want to talk about 5 reports to run a better sales meeting and the types of reports you can pull out of Followup to help you run that sales meeting. So obviously we have our report card, which we just went over, our 1 contracts report. Our 1 contracts report is telling us, hey, what did we win this month, this week, this year? And so there's a very easy report that you can pull to tell you that information. And so you can come here to the report tab. Well, there's a few different ways. Let me backtrack here. 1, you can go to your dashboard, and on your dashboard, you have all of your captured contracts right here. So if you click into this chart for August, this will show you everything that was won in the month of August. However, if you want more information, you can always come to the report card, or I'm sorry, the reports tab, and pull the 1 contracts report. For the sake of time today, I have already pulled these reports. So you make your selection of your date range. So I could do last 30 days. I'm going to select who I want to see. A lot of times, if you pull a report and you're not seeing the information you want to see, you likely need to update your filters. Who are you running the report for? What is the date range you want to see? Do we need to separate the office or division? Or I know everyone titles these filters a little bit differently. It could be contract type or location. Let's make those changes and then run your report to see the information you want to see. When you do that, you can refresh your browser. And then once you refresh your browser, it'll come right here to this bell. It'll turn orange and your report will show up right here for you. So I have already downloaded this 1 contracts report, and I'll pull it up here for you. So our 1 contracts report is going to show us the contract date. So I pulled a report for everything for this year because it's our demo environment and I wanted to see more information. And then it's going to split it up for me month over month for any contracts that were awarded during that month. So it's run, you can see here, the filter on this report is based on the contract date. Because I left the division and office blank, it automatically will pull all divisions and all offices for me. And then I can see the contract amount month over month, who the opportunities belong to, and then I can see the totals down here at the bottom based on the business development rep, the estimator, and then I can see all of my percentages down here, which is super helpful. A really great snapshot. A lot of times you'll have this snapshot sent to yourself, your CEO, your president, whoever, and you can actually run this for an individual or for multiple people at the same time. So if you want to run it for everyone on your team, you could do that, and it makes it really, really simple for you. The next report is the bid list. That's what's coming up. What do I need to focus on? What are we going to be bidding? Is there anything that is on the bid list that hasn't been assigned to an estimator yet? Let's make sure I've got all of those things covered. So here we have the bid list. The bid list report is based on the bid date. So the bid date on your project must be filled out for this report to return back to you with opportunities. Here you can see the bid date that's listed. These are all future bid dates because I ran a future report from today forward 30 days. And I can see that a couple of these do not have anyone assigned. So I'm going to make sure I want to get someone assigned to this Porter Electric bid invitation so that it doesn't fall through the cracks because the bid date is today. All right. Next, I have the bid proposal report. I like to call the bid proposal report it makes follow-up worth every dollar you spend when you use this report and implement it well. It is a big picture of everything that's in your pipeline, showing you who you're bidding to, who's working on the opportunity, and when your next follow-up is with that opportunity. So I'm going to pull up this bid proposal report. I like to run this one as an Excel. So I come here to bid proposal. It's going to give you the opportunity to choose how you want to export this report. And I always export this as an Excel because of the way that I like to view the information. So from here, it's going to export all of the projects that have a bid date within the time, a bid date or a proposal delivered date within the time frame that I selected. And then I can see who we're bidding to. Now you can see here that this one's really long. It's because it's being bid to several different companies, and it's going to pull all of that information into this report for me, which is super valuable. You can see everyone you're bidding to. And then as I continue coming over, I can see what the current sales status is. What I like to do on this report is I like to filter this report by this column I, sales status column. And I like to say, I don't want to see anything that's awarded. I don't want to see the decline stuff. I don't even want to see the leads or the lost or the blanks right now. So then now I have, oh, I think when I filtered this, I filtered it funny. Okay, so then I have what I want to see. I like to do just a little A to Z filter and get everything together for myself. And so then I can see all of my active bids, my budget, my high priority, my pre-quals, and my verbals. Then what I like to do is I like to come all the way over, and your number one goal would be to make sure that every single item that's in your pipeline has a follow-up date. And this is where you're going to beat out your competition every single time. I cannot tell you how many times I heard this just from somebody recently. They followed up for like the fourth time, and they were not the only contractor that was bidding the opportunity, but nobody else that had delivered bids had followed up. And so they won the opportunity. This happens all the time. People are sending out bids, and it's probably something that we're all guilty of too, right? We'll give somebody an initial answer on something, and then we never hear back from them. And so then we never do anything. But you have done a lot of work estimating these projects. So it is worth your time and effort to follow up on the projects that you spent so much time and money estimating. And then you're going to see that your bid ratio, your closing ratio I've seen closing ratios increase by 15 to 20% when people implement follow up and start actually following up on their proposals, because they're following up and they're putting themselves in front of the client and they're getting another opportunity to bid because they did that. The other thing that I find really important is you see this one here is an active bid. So, and it has a follow-up date, but it doesn't have a dollar value. So in your pipeline, it's showing as $0. And we want to make sure that that has a value so that we can make sure we know what's actually in our pipeline, so that we know what's in our backlog and what's coming, so that our production operations teams will know what's coming when we win or lose opportunities. So it's really important to make sure, for your budget bids, you may not have all of your dollar values, but anything else that's not, and pre-quals probably not either, but everything else should have a dollar value if it's in your pipeline. All right, next, the dead recap report. The dead recap report is going to show us what we lost and why we lost it. So I'm going to run this one for the last 365. So this is how you run those reports. If you hit refresh on your browser, it comes right to you. It's also going to go to your email. And then we can see the name of the project that we lost, the dollar value that we lost, and who it belonged to. And then you can see the same thing. And then it'll show you the total lost. Now we do have a special feature in the back end under your sales status that if you want to require a comment, and even a reason when your opportunity is lost. You can do that. And then when you do that, it will show up on this report. So I love for people to schedule this report for the end of the month, every month, so that they can see, hey, these are the opportunities that we didn't win. Why didn't we win? And then we can move forward and learn from what happened already. All right. Now, there's one more here. It's called a lead recap report. So, a lead recap report, I think, is so helpful for finding out where your opportunities are coming from and what the current stages of those opportunities are. So, the lead recap report, I did one for the whole year. And then you see here the menu is blank because these opportunities here were not assigned. But then down here, we have this menu and these ones are assigned. So when you have opportunities that aren't assigned, you'll want to ask your team, hey, can you go in here and assign where this opportunity came to us from so that we can track where we're spending our marketing dollars and making sure we're spending them in the right place? And then we could say, oh, okay, this one came from a relationship. It was awarded. Let's make sure we follow up with this contractor. We want to have a good relationship with them and move forward, get our business development to send them a little gift or something. Whoops. Well, that was weird. Okay, and then we have the other statuses: current clients, website, central bidding, any other locations. If you're using any bid services like Building Connected, Dodge Report, whatever those are, you can add those as your lead sources. And then you'll be able to see the percentage of proposals, percentage of proposal dollars, percentage of contracts, and percentage of contract dollars, which is really a really helpful breakdown for your business development team. Okay. All right. I think we're almost out of time here, but I did have one more report that I really wanted to show everyone. And this is a client sales history report, which I find super valuable. You can see who you've been bidding to year over year and how many proposals they've asked for, how many you've been awarded, and what your current closing ratio with a customer is. So what I love seeing on this report is you can see the number of bids you delivered in a year, the number of bid dollars, the number that you were awarded or lost, the number of contracts, contract dollars, and what your closing ratio is with that company. What I love seeing here is growth year over year when you can see it. So like this year, they bid $50,000. They didn't win it, but then the next year they bid 7 opportunities, right? And then they won 3 of those, which increased their closing ratio quite a bit. So this is a really helpful report to see who you're bidding to, how often you're bidding to them, and then what your actual closing ratio is. Because sometimes relationships can be deceiving, right? You think you have a really good rapport with someone, you always have great conversations, but then the numbers tell you a different story. So yes, you may have a great rapport with someone, but they never actually award you the opportunity. They're just using you as a third bidder on an opportunity they're likely going to give to somebody else. So then that actually opens the door for a really nice conversation of saying, hey, we bid to you 10 times last year. You didn't award to us once. Are we coming in too high? Is there something different that you need? Or are you really just using us as a third bidder? And then you can decide whether you want to continue bidding to them or not, or how the relationship could move forward. So reports are intended to help give you the tools that you need to have good conversations, define who owns the opportunity, who owns the next action item, and then, having the right conversations so that you can win those opportunities that you're looking forward to winning. All right. So on to my next point actually is and then this is one last thing. Remember how I said on the bid proposal report, that was everything that was in your pipeline. We want to make sure it all has a follow-up date. We now have automations, right? And you could use an automation to automatically add the next follow-up activity based on something else that happens. So based on the sales status being updated or based on proposal delivered being completed, you can automate that process. So really interesting information. Courtney will link that so that you can see that as well. All right. And then the most important thing that I think helps us in every meeting is to end every meeting with a next step. So telling your team, hey, great job at the sales meeting today. This is how I'd like you to come prepared next week. Come prepared with your report card. Let us know the opportunities that you need help with because we're going to be there to help you. So reports that you can run, lead recap, hey, what came in this last week and what do we need help with? Dead recap, hey, these are the things that we lost. How can we do better next week? And then, hey, what do you want them to update on their opportunities before they come to the meeting the following week? So you want to make sure that every opportunity, every project in your system has an owner, has a next action plan. Using that activity feature is so important. And then making sure at the next meeting, you know what those action items are and then have them present on those things. It's a weekly rhythm that can be repeatable very, very easily. And when you do repeat this rhythm, your team comes knowing what to expect and knowing what needs to happen. So the last thing that I want to say is you don't have to use every single feature in follow-up to get the value out of it. You know, I have a car and I don't use my sunroof all the time, but that doesn't mean I don't like it or that it's not important. It's just, it's not the most important thing in my car. The most important thing is that I can go pick up my kids safely and bring them home. And so find what the most important thing is for your company to move forward to the next step to get you to next week before you start dreaming about 10 years from now, and figure out what can I implement today to put me in a good position next month to have more information and better communication for my team. And then, you know, just make sure your team is owning their opportunities and give them the opportunity to make a mistake and show them how they can recover from that and move forward and do better communicating with your team. That is all I have today. If anybody has any specific questions about running a sales meeting or why we are suggesting these things, please let us know in the comments and we're happy to answer any questions people may have today. And then Courtney, if you have anything you want to add.
Yeah, no, that was great. I will be sending out a kind of leave behind document with some of the information that Christine went through today. So, and I'll include some of these help articles as well. So, if you lose these after the meeting, you'll have access to that in your email. And then, next month, we are going to be covering some best practices around our business development tools. And I will share the registration link in the chat if you guys want to go ahead and reserve your spot. And we'll also be covering in that webinar our new business development dashboard. So that is going to be a good one. And Christine will also be hosting that. So you won't want
Let's
to
do
miss
it.
it.
All right. Thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. If you need us, reach out and chat or send us an email. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.